Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video in Wild Rift. So today we're back with an updated complete guide for Tristana for patch 6.0 and onwards. But of course, before we really get into it, don't forget to check out Tristana's basic guide that I'll put up in the cards above for her skills, leveling order tips and tricks, as well as a couple of combos. But without further ado, let's jump straight into the items, runes, and spells. Alright, so let's first talk about the items. So it's a pretty standard Tristana build. Nothing too much has changed from the previous patch. There are a couple of wacky Tristana builds going around. Actually, it's not in the top 3 anymore, but there was at the end of last season, there was like a tank Tristana build being built by the first and second player. I tried it out. It's actually decent. There is also a build that was popular like yesterday. I think yesterday it was still in the top 3, but I guess today it's not, where you go for like Triforce and Runan's Hurricane after Bloodthirster, and then you go for Navori only as a 4th item. I tried that one out. I didn't like it too much, but this is basically the stock standard Tristana build where you go for Gluttonous Greasepress for the early AD and the Omnivamp, and then you go into Bloodthirster as your first item, giving you more, of course, a huge amount of AD, your physical vamp, as well as your bonus stats when you're high on health. Yes, it did get nerfed, but it's still pretty much the best ADC item if you can build it. Navori, second item, gives you the faster cooldowns. Really important for Tristana because all her abilities are really good. I mean, Q gives you attack speed, W is your mobility, and of course a lot of your damage comes from your bomb, so Navori is an amazing item on Tristana. Now we go for Blaster. Blaster gives us attack speed as well as extra range and the static shift passive. So this is basically replacing IE, and why is that the case is that generally on Tristana you don't actually need the extra damage from IE. When you reach like mid to late game when you're gonna get IE anyway, you already have enough damage to generally take someone out, so you don't actually really need IE all that much. So because of that, you just go for Blaster for the extra utility and attack speed. And of course, finally, we do want to go for more Reminder for the Armor Pen and the Grievous Wounds. Last item, you generally want to go for something defensive such as Maw. Of course, you could go for other defensive options as well, like Starex, like Shield Bow, things like that. If you want something offensive, Runans is going to be the way to go. Late game Tristana with Runans, if you can afford to build it without building something defensive, is completely insane because you can blast people from like a screen away, with the Runans bolts. And for the runes, obviously we're going to be going for Lethal Tempo, to give you the extra range and attack speed. Brutal, of course, for the on-hit damage, because of course your ADC that auto-attacks a lot. Giant Slayer to counter the tanks. Alacrity for more attack speed. And Bone Plating, of course, for the extra defensive stats, both in lane and in the later stages of the game. Now for the spells, I'm going to link the spells for ADC's video that I did just recently to kind of go in if you want an in-depth explanation on what spells to take. But basically it's very variable now, in a sense that now ADCs can take a variety of spells. They can take heal, barrier, exhaust, cleanse, even ignite on some ADCs. But generally for Tristana, I do recommend going between cleanse, barrier, and exhaust, depending on the matchup. Of course, cleanse when there's a lot of CC, barrier when there's a lot of like assassins and damage especially, and exhaust as well. It's really good for that. So it kind of depends on what you prefer, but a lot of options at the moment. But without further ado, let's move on to our gameplay. Okay, so let's jump into the gameplay itself. But of course, before we do that, don't forget to, as usual, like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will, of course, be sure to address them. So, I've been playing a lot of Tristana. Like in the tail end of the last patch, I pretty much became almost a Tristana one-trick. I was just trying to get better on Tristana because honestly, I feel that out of all of the ADCs, I think this is a little bit of a controversial take, but I actually think that in Wild Rift, I think Tristana is the hardest ADC to play in my opinion. At least, maybe not in general, but at least for me, I think out of all the ADCs, and I play all of them of course, I feel that Tristana is actually the hardest to play for me. Alright, so I think that Draven, Kalista, and Zarya, and all these like Vayner's quote-unquote hard champions are easier than Tristana, for me at least. The issue I have with Tristana is I misplay on Tristana a lot. I think sometimes I put the bomb on the wrong person. I put the bomb on the minion instead of the champion. I put the bomb on the support instead of the ADC. I put the bomb on the ADC and I focus the support. A lot of targeting issues like that. And I just find Tristana a little bit difficult to play, so I was just trying to to brush up on my Tristana skills and get better at Tristana, because I do think Tristana is a decently strong champion, but she did get her base AD nerfed like twice, in patch, 5.3 and patch 5.3D, I believe it was. So she's definitely a lot weaker in the early game than what she was. Honestly, before patch like 5.3, she was really strong in the early game, and now she's no longer that dominant force in lane. She's more of a late game champion. Of course, if you can get kills and snowball in the early game, she's going to be very strong throughout the game, but that's on majority of ADCs. So no real surprise there. Now here Maokai is going in onto the Vayne. I'm trying to follow up. Yasuo is coming in as well with the gank from the mid lane. Nothing too much really comes of it. Vayne is really low. And we're definitely fishing for something here. Maokai tries to flash for the Vayne, doesn't end up working out, so we're going to go for Nautilus instead. Yasuo is actually tanking, really good tanking by Yasuo. I'm nearly dying 1v1 to Nautilus because of the minions. Remember, minions are OP in the early game, they do a ton of damage. And here we are trying to reach for a plate, although we know Galio is missing, and here he is. I actually barely survived here by jumping out of the way of his Winds of War. I would have died there if that hit me, but I barely managed to survive. He gets distracted by Yasuo, and Yasuo pays the price. I say pays the price, but in reality, two of us were not going to make it out there. Probably one guy was going to die, so Yasuo did take the fall, and I was, of course, able to escape. Now in this match, obviously I chose to take Cleanse because there's a ton of CC, Vayne Condemn, Nautilus entire kit, Galio, majority of Galio's kit, Wukong with his knocked up and such, so ton of CC all around. I do think that Cleanse is the way to go in this particular match. Now here Vayne gets engaged on again, condemns me into the wall. I use my Cleanse to go unstoppable, and in the end we trade 1 for 1. Once again, it's a minions diff right here. There are 4 enemy minions, they're just blasting me, and because of that it becomes a 1 for 1 trade. But then again, technically, if this was the previous patch, I would have just died without even killing 1 for 1 because Cleanse wouldn't have existed. The Cleanse there helped me to remove the Condemn instantly and allow me to continue DPSing, the Vayne and, take her down. So, of course, Cleanse coming in really handy. I'm sure a lot of ADCs, do love Cleanse, and I've even seen other roles take Cleanse, which I personally don't think is worth it. I think that Cleanse is actually meant purely for ADCs. I really don't think top laners or mid laners should be taking Cleanse. But yeah, so here, Vayne tries to escape again. I'm trying to take her down. Unfortunately, she picks up the fruit. I think that ult would have killed her if she didn't manage to get the fruit. But here Nautilus is chasing us in. Does hit the root onto me with his auto attack, but he's left high and dry by the Vayne, and I'm trying to take him out. Galio is now coming in for the gank. I go in to finish off the Nautilus and the Vayne, and I know I'm probably going to die to Galio, which I do end up doing so. However, in this case, I was just trying to trade 1 for 2, but unfortunately Maokai dies as well, so it becomes a 2 for 2 trade with Galio getting really fed. Galio 3-0-1 now, and Wukong is 2-0. Of course, the bot lane, enemy bot lane not doing too well. I'm 1k gold up on the enemy Vayne. And Nautilus, though, has picked up pretty much all the kills. He's going for Roa as a first item, so mix of tankiness and AP, so shows that the Nautilus is not going like full tank or anything like that. So on the way to lane, just picking up those mushrooms. As I mentioned, only don't go out of your way to get the mushrooms, only if it's a good opportunity. So here I was really slow on the Cleanse. Could have probably killed the Vayne without needing to flash here. But I was a little bit slow on the trigger. Honestly, in the early part of the patch, like right now, I'm not that good at cleansing yet. It's sort of like when you first start buying QSSs and enchant, you kind of suck at using QSS. At least I did. I'm not sure about you guys, but when I first started building QSSs and enchant over stasis, which I gone for a long time, I was really bad at using QSS. And even now, I'm not that great at using QSS. I wouldn't say so that I'm good at using QSS at all. However, I definitely got a lot better over the course of building QSS like almost every game. And I think it's gonna be the same thing with Cleanse, right? Because like I'm like mentally I'm like I bought QSS, I gotta use it, and that's only like in the mid game. But I keep forgetting that I have Cleanse, so sometimes I'm a little bit slow on the trigger, or sometimes by the time I realize it's like a second later, I'm like it's not even worth it to cleanse anymore because I've already been CC'd by like an entire second. So what's the point at this point, right? So here Nautilus misses the hook. Maokai, of course, doesn't because it's point and click. Vayne has to run for the hills because she's really low. So instead we focus Nautilus. Nautilus is going down. Down he goes. Vayne is going to trade the kill onto my support. But I'm able to pick up the Vayne myself with the help of my ulti. Did buffer the jump there to chase the Vayne, so I ended up jumping onto her dead body. But definitely going well for me and the Maokai. So here we're just gonna go for the tower. Of course, Tristana takes tower really quickly, so we are actually able to, I believe, get the first tower of the game here, and we also get the solo tower goal because no one else is with us. So this puts us in a very commanding position. Having almost 7k gold in the game right now, no one is really even close. We're 7-2, so we're in a very good spot right now, and this of course is going to mean that we're probably not really going to feel that mid game power trough. We're probably going to scale very well into the late game, and it looks like it's going to go all good. So here we're now just going to start chasing the Galio, and here you can see how much damage we really do. Just look at that, we just run the Galio down. Now Nautilus tries to ult us on the tower, it doesn't really work out. Now Nautilus is getting caught, getting 3-manned by myself, Maokai, and Yasuo. Down he goes, and the tower is really low. We want to take that down. Now I'm not sure what Vayne's doing. She just saw 2 people die under tower, and she steps up as well, and she has to flash away. I'm flashing the follow because I think I have the damage to kill her. She's really low, 1 HP. I try to cleanse, but I'm not sure what I'm really doing here because cleanse doesn't give movement speed at all. I think QSS does give movement speed if I'm not mistaken, but cleanse definitely doesn't. So here I'm realizing that I'm in a little bit of a trouble here, so I'm ulting the Galio away, and then I'm gonna run away myself. But we pick up another couple of kills, and this does give us enough to get Navori. So really quickly, just like 8 minutes into the game, we already have two full items as well as the additional dagger. So now we're taking the Hex Gate out, of course, getting 2 lane faster. You can see a huge top wave is slowly building up and is going to crash into our tower eventually. So here I'm thinking, I'm not even going to bother detouring for the mushrooms because I can get way more gold from like this wave. Like if 1 minion just dies there, I lose more gold than what I get from the mushrooms. So this is definitely one of those cases where getting the mushrooms is not a good idea. So here I'm kind of trolling because I'm thinking I can take the Hex Gate down, but this is not that Hex Gate. This Hex Gate is the one from the base to the jungle, not the one from jungle to jungle, because I'm trolling. I'm basically trolling here. But anyways, I'm going to come up here and join my team. I have no idea why we're fighting between Inhib and tier 2 tower, but since my whole team is fighting, I guess I'm just gonna join them. Don't know if that's the best idea though. So here, nothing really happens, I guess, and the minion is about to die, so I'm gonna hop out of the way. Volibear starts tanking the tower, but he's tanky, so it doesn't really matter. We're gonna take down this tower, of course, with Tristana. You can explode the tower really quickly. Vayne is trying to get an objective bounty at the top lane. Actually, she's not because she just channeled recall, but either way, we're gonna make our way there so that we can get some gold from all those minions that are dying to the tower. Hopping straight on over, and in this case we're gonna pick up the mushrooms because we're already there, so no reason not to. 10-2-0 at the moment. Funnily enough, we have no assists, and the enemy spawns the Herald on the bottom lane. By the way, the announcement of the Enchanted Ensemble, pretty interesting because they normally don't announce the spawning of the monsters, but now they do, so that's I guess useful for people who don't realize. So anyways, a fight is going down at the bottom lane, and I'm not going to go there because I see this as an opportunity to get a free dragon. My jungler is kind of waiting for a dragon to spawn, and the whole enemy team is kind of distracted on the wrong side of the map. So I'm thinking we can just burst down this dragon and we can easily just get it. Now Vayne doesn't even commit to the objective bounty. She actually just recalls right there, and she doesn't even get the tower because of that, because the minions are not enough to take down the tower. And here a fight's breaking out, so I have to ditch the minion wave. I'm going to go in. I see the real Wukong running away, so we're going to chase him. Yasuo gets the kill. Now going onto the Galio, Yasuo picks up another kill. I accidentally blast plant the Morgana to the other side, but I guess she was pretty low anyway, so not too big of a deal. Now because of that wave position is going to slow push, so I'm not actually going to clear that wave. I'm going to let the wave slowly build up and push, which will be a problem for the enemy team if they don't clear it. So I'm just going to leave it like that. and let the wave slowly walk towards the tower. It's probably going to meet the other wave here, yep, and continue to slow push in the top lane. I think Yasuo's going to clear the wave though, so all the effort kind of wasted. But instead, I'm just going to go mid lane, continue on farming. Nothing too interesting is happening because objectives are not up. Baron's coming up in 45 seconds though, which means there's another objective to, of course, contest. Getting the shared red buff. By the way, guys, I love the new buff where everyone gets it. Like, that's amazing. People don't have to fight for buffs anymore. Here, hopping in, getting a free kill onto Wukong, who happens to walk right in our path. Now we're kind of in the wrong position, so we're gonna have to hop over. Kind of a little bit of a waste of our jump. Could be dangerous if the enemy tries to take advantage of it, but thankfully, nothing really happens. Here Maokai ends up following the Vayne over. I think that might kill her, because like 2 auto attacks and the bomb. There we go. The 2 auto attacks was enough to pop the bomb, and she just goes down. I'm just really far ahead at this point. And Baron is up. We don't even really need the Baron. We've taken the mid lane inhibitor. We're going for the bot lane inhibitor now. And, sorry, bot lane tier 2, and now the bot lane inhibitor. And yeah, we're just blasting it down. Here Galio is clearing the bomb goes to the wrong person. This is what I was talking about. Why did the bomb go to Nautilus there? I guess I wasn't in range of Galio, but Galio escapes because of that. But we're gonna get the tower in exchange. And yeah, now we probably want to be backing off and either getting Baron or resetting. We probably don't want to be forcing too hard here, because all the enemy team is that, like, obviously there's the defender's advantage where they're right next to the base. They can consistently run into the base and continuously restore health, and you don't really want that because obviously it's really hard to kill them or anything like that when they're right at their base, right? So here we're going for Baron. I'm just blasting Wukong. He's lost half his health already, and we are able to take him down before he's able to steal the Baron, and we get the Baron, and I pick up the Mole Reminder, and with that, we're in a position to end the game. 2 inhibs are already down. Yasuo is split pushing the top lane, and the rest of us are going mid lane. So now we are just going to basically run down mid and attempt to end the game. Here I am just popping the plant to kind of check if anyone's there. I believe this is the buff that's going to be shared with everybody, so we're just going to steal the enemy's one and we're going to give our team the buff instead. I'm going to go top and actually just get the last few towers. And my team is now at mid, fighting the enemy. I'm joining the fight. One auto nearly kills the Tryndamere instantly, hopping over, getting rid of the Galio here. And yeah, at this point the game is pretty much just won. Nautilus knocks me up. I'm gonna cleanse it, and I'm just gonna continue blasting the Nautilus. Unfortunately, I'm tanking the tower, and I'm getting hit 3 times, and I end up just dying there. But it's fine. My team should easily be able to finish the match. Only Vayne and Tryndamere are left alive, and we still have Baron minions. We can just run down mid and end the game. Yeah, this wave should be enough to get rid of that last 1.5k HP. And yeah, Morgana is the only one interested in ending the game, apparently. The rest of them are doing other things, but there we go. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.